Welcome to Naija Voice, where we give voice to the unheard. Indeed, it is no longer history and news or fabricated issues that the British government have been silent on Nnamdi Kalu's case. He has been in detention since 2021 June that he was kidnapped from Kenya. He is a British citizen and also a Nigerian citizen. But the British government have kept silent and are not saying anything. For the trial of Nnamdi Kalu, he has been kept in DSS underground cell. The British government has kept quiet and have refused to challenge Nigerian government. A Nigerian came online to analyze the implication of this act. Why the British government is silent. This is Naija Voice. Hear more details about what is said. Don't forget to subscribe and like.
Welcome to Naija Voice Television, where we give voice to the unheard.
Must ask, why is Britain silent? Why a British citizen, Nnamdi Kanu, is being tortured and tried for actions carried out on British soil? From London to DSS custody, this is not just about Nnamdi Kanu. This is about truth, justice, and the soul of Biafra. A family's cry against empire. The Kanu family has dropped a letter that will go down in history. In their powerful statement, they declare the United Kingdom has never stopped killing Biafrans, only the methods have changed. Think about that. A nation that claims to champion human rights, law, and freedom, accused of complicity in the brutal oppression of its own citizens. But the family didn't stop there. They laid out the case for why Britain is not just silent but involved. They took us back to the genocide of 1967 to 1970, a genocide where over 5 million Biafrans were murdered. A genocide Britain has never acknowledged, even though they armed the Nigerian military and gave them strategy support. According to the family, this isn't a new war. It is an old war with new weapons. And this time, instead of bombs and bullets, Britain is using diplomatic silence to bury a movement and its leader. In this statement, Prince Emmanuel Kanu speaks not just for his brother. He speaks for every Biafran, past and present. He speaks for justice for the children who starve, for the voices that were silenced. And he asks a simple question: will Britain answer for its crime, past and present, or will it continue its colonial tradition of silence and slaughter? Allah Ejimako ignites a firestorm online. It didn't take long before the world saw the letter. Why? Because Barrister Allah Ejimako, lead counsel for Nnamdi Kanu, posted it on X, formerly Twitter, for the world to see. That move was more than legal, it was revolutionary. Ejimako, a consistent and fearless defender of Kanu, took a private message and made it global statement, and the moment he did, the silence was shattered. Activists, journalists, human rights groups, everyone started asking, how can Britain stay silent while a British citizen is being illegally detained, tortured, and tried in Nigeria? Ejimako didn't just post the letter, he underlined the hypocrisy. He reminded us the IPOB and Radio Biafra are fully legal under UK law. There is no court order banning them, no crimes committed under British jurisdiction. So why is Britain allowing this? Why are they watching a foreign dictatorship try a UK citizen for something he said on UK soil? The answer is chilling, and the letter suggests it because the UK government would rather protect its historic interests in Nigeria than the rights of a Biafran. This is why a law post it put the UK on trial in the court of public opinion, and now the world is watching. Kenya, the crime scene no one talk about. Let's go back to June 2021. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in Nairobi, Kenya, legally, peacefully, not hiding. Then something unthinkable happened. He was kidnapped. No arrest warrant, no court order, no extradition, treaty follow. He was drugged, blindfolded, and flown to Nigeria in chains. What do we call this? Extraordinary redemption. It is a crime under international law, and it is something dictatorship do, not democracies. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Britain knew. The Britain High Commission in Nairobi was alerted. They had the capacity to intervene, but they didn't lift a finger. Ask yourself, why? Why would the UK allow this illegal act against its own citizens? Why did they refuse to even investigate? The Kanu family say what many whispered for years. Britain was not just silent, they were complicity. This wasn't negligence, it was policy, a calculated decision to let Nigeria do what Britain could not legally do on its own soil. That is modern day colonialism at work, and Nnamdi Kanu is its victim. DSS custody, the question that broke them. After the illegal redemption, Kanu found himself in DSS custody in Abuja, isolated, tortured, denied basic human rights. But even in that darkness, he still asked the most important question directly to British consular officials who visit him. Why is the UK allowing me, a British citizen, to be tried for broadcasts made in the UK where everything I did was legal? Their response, we will get back to you. But they never did, and within 4 days something strange happened. Nigeria Attorney General quietly amended the charges, removing London, United Kingdom as the location of the alleged crimes. Coincidence, or was it a coordinated cover-up? The family believes Britain either advised Nigeria to remove the UK judiciary or allow it to happen in silence. That is not just betrayal, that is diplomatic sabotage. It is one thing to remain neutral, but it is another thing entirely to help a corrupt regime dodge international law. That is what Britain is accused of, and so far they haven't denied it. Legal trust they want you to ignore. Let's make one thing absolutely clearly. Even if you don't support IPOB, even if you have never heard of Nnamdi Kanu, you cannot ignore the legal facts of this case. Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. He was kidnapped in Kenya, not arrested. The UK has primary judiciary over the alleged crimes. IPOB and Radio Biafra are not banned in the UK. There is no extradition agreement that allow for what happened. So, by all international standards, Kanu should be either in Britain or Kenya, not in the DSS underground Dagon. And yet, he remains there. Why? Because Britain has refused to demand his return. They have refused to acknowledge the violation of their own extradition act, their own consular law. What message does that send? That citizenship is meaningless if you are African, that the UK will defend its citizens unless you are betraying. This is not just a legal tragedy, it is a moral failure on a global scale. Diplomatic silence, Britain's deadly strategy. Let's look at what Britain has actually done since 2021. No formal protest to the Nigeria government, no international legal case filed, no public demand for Kanu's release, not even a request for accountability from Kenya. Instead, Britain has chosen strategic silence. They have sent consular officers to observe but refuse to confront the actual crime, the illegal kidnapping and the torture of their own citizens. According to the Kanu family, this isn't silence by accident, this is silence by design. Why? Because Britain doesn't want the IPOB movement to gain international recognition, because Britain doesn't want to reopen the wounds of the Biafran genocide which it helped cause. If they admit the truth about Kanu, they admit the truth about themselves, so they pretend nothing happened. They pretend Kanu's trial is just another legal process. Even through the African Union, the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, and international human rights lawyers have called it what it really is: a political persuasion wrapped in a fraudulent legal process. And Britain is helping to keep that process alive. Biafra, Britain, and the return of colonialism. This isn't just about one man. It is about an entire people, an entire history. From 1967 to today, Britain's role in Biafra has never ended. It just changed form. Back then, it was military guns and oil interests. Today, it is political silence and economic partnerships with corrupt Nigeria elites. Same goal: suppress Biafra, protect profit, maintain control. That is what the Kanu family is trying to expose. And the reason why so many people are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu is because he broke the silence. He called Britain out. He exposed their hand. He reminded the world of what they did during the war and what they are still doing now. And that is why they want him caged. But they forgot something: ideas can't be caged. And as more people read this letter, hear these words, the truth will spread faster than any bullet ever fire in the Biafran war. Double standards. What if Kanu was white? Let's flip the script. Imagine Nnamdi Kanu was a white British citizen abducted by Iran or North Korea, tortured and put on trial for broadcasts made in London. Do you think Britain will remain silent? There will be global outrage, economic sanction, emergency UN meetings, demands for immediate release. But because Nnamdi Kanu is black, Igbo, and Biafran, the UK response has been, we will get back to you. This is racism wrapped in diplomacy. This is a government saying some citizens matter and some don't. And this is exactly why the letter from the Kanu families hits so hard, because it exposed the lie of Western democracy, that human rights are for everyone. Clearly, in the case of Biafrans, they are not. A challenge to the United Kingdom. The Kanu family did not just write this letter to vent, they write it to demand action. They are calling on Britain to admit that what happened to Kanu was illegal.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Naija Voice TV. Stay tuned for latest updates.